Hey guys, Steven here, aka the Boiler Master, doing some more DD and drinking my coffee. I thought I wanted to share some with you. So we got an update from IQST this week. Short, sweet, straight to the point, which is the way we like them. But anybody that's newer or not following the company as close as I do, thought I ought to share a few things and what some of this means to me. So here's the PR. It came out on March 5th, 2024. Says IQST today announced the company's year-to-date revenue through the end of February 2024 based on preliminary accounting reached $33 million. IQST management also reports that the company's gross margin year-to-date continues to trend up in conjunction with the company's forecast. The revenue announced today does not reflect any benefit from the QXTEL acquisition agreement announced on January 22nd, and it does not reflect any contribution from the pro forma financial statement published in conjunction with the QXTEL acquisition on February 8th, 2024. While the revenue reported today does not include any benefit from QXTEL acquisition agreement, IQSTEL management has set April 1st as the target date for closing the acquisition. In less than 30 days, we expect QXTEL to officially be $250 million in annual revenue company. Even though the acquisition is not yet closed, the two companies have already begun working closely together in anticipation of April 1st closing. We have begun cross-selling and seizing operational synergies. After April 1st, look for our next updates to be about our ongoing M&A campaign and our uplisting to the Nasdaq exchange. So, like I said, short and sweet, just the information we needed. But I want to share a few of my notes on this. Let me say first that I'm not a financial advisor, just a guy that likes to do DD and drink coffee and share some of that with you guys. So, not financial advice, just my personal opinions. But first thing here is it tells us that they did $33 million for January and February. So if we take 33 divided by 2 months, that's an average of 16.5 million per month. So 16.5 by 12 months will be on track for $198 million before any additional growth and before any addition of QXTEL's revenue, which is over $80 million a year. So if QXTEL closes April 1st, which would be the first day of Q2, it would add an additional 60 million in revenue this year for 258 million minimum revenue for 2024. But IQSD is still growing, so their existing subsidiaries are gonna do more than the 198 million. And QXTEL, as they told us, is already cross-selling with their other subsidiaries, so QXTEL is likely to do a lot more than the 60 million that they'd add, being just 3/4 of this year. So pretty much I stand firm on my 24 prediction of 300 million being an extremely low end conservative valuation. That's what I put together a couple months ago, and it looks like they're definitely on track to do that or more. Now, it also said the company's gross margin continues to trend up. They keep telling us this in every financial update we get. Q3 was the last quarterly report we had showing us the filings and margins. We won't see Q4 until the annual filing, which will be next month. Um, but Q3 was profitable. So, not by a lot, but it was profitable. And they told us several times in Q4 that margins continued improving over Q3's performance. And they keep telling us that Q1 things are improving even more. So we should be able to expect the company will be profitable going forward. And the Super 8K they filed, which showed us QXTEL's financials for the last 2 years, show that QXTEL's been doing over $1 million in net income every year. So add an extra $1 million in net income to QXTEL's current profits, and we should be looking at 24 doing over 100% growth with no question about being profitable. Now, I want to point out something in this PR and clear up a few discussions on the message boards. It says officially be $250 million in annual revenue company. Annual revenue. So that means they'll be doing over 250 million in a year's time. It doesn't mean that's their actual 2024 forecast. Their 2024 forecast has not been updated to my knowledge. It still says their forecast is 140 million. So when are they going to update it? Well, if the acquisition closes April 1st, after it's official, that's probably when they will update it. However, Close the acquisition by April 1st. Q1 will have just ended, and we'll be waiting on the filing to come, which should be around May 15th. And then they do have a history of updating their forecasts after releasing the first quarter financials. So if I had to guess, I would say they probably provide a 2024 forecast either right after the Q1 filing towards the end of May, or they wait until the first week or so of June, because that's when they can give both April and May's preliminary numbers at the same time that they're giving us a new forecast. They have done that before because letting us know what they're on track for kind of solidifies, the forecast they're giving us. So, how much are they going to forecast? Well, we know they like to stay conservative on forecast. They always underpromise and overdeliver on revenue. But based where they should be with revenue by May, I would say they probably go somewhere around maybe 265 million as an official forecast. It's low, so they can increase it again later and still beat it by a lot, but it's high enough to emphasize to shareholders that the 250 million they keep talking about is not the case. They're going to blow past that by far. Ideally, if the next couple months are strong enough, I'd like to see them go a little more aggressive for a change and go ahead and forecast 280 million, because that would make the forecast alone 100% year over year growth from last year's 140 million. So that message is for you, Leandro. The next forecast update, it needs to be over 250 million, preferably 280 if the company's comfortable providing those numbers. I know you guys like to be conservative, but man, I think you beat last year's forecast by 33%, and that was after updating it throughout the year. So go a little more aggressive. Don't tell us 280, before you guys are ready to, but give us 280. We know you're going to beat it. So moving on, that PR also said after April 1st, look for our next updates to be about our ongoing M&A campaign and our uplisting to the NASDAQ exchange. So if you've been following things, QXTEL was the first of two acquisitions. They told us in a PR, I believe December 12th, that there was a second target acquisition they anticipate closing within the first 6 months of 2024. So they've already had one lined up, and they've told us multiple times they're working on a second acquisition and continuing their merger and acquisition campaign throughout the year. They're not going to stop after they close QXTEL. So now they're telling us after April 1st, look for our next updates to be about our ongoing M&A campaign. So after QXTEL closes, their next update is going to be acquisitions. That's after closing QXTEL. So personally, I figure as soon as QXTEL closes, they're probably proceeding right into signing the purchase agreement on the next acquisition. They just need to get QXTEL closed first. We know they've been working on it, but trying to close two at the same time, they really just need to get QXTEL out of the way, and that should happen by the first. So probably give them a week or two to get the paperwork signed, get all the filings in order. They got to file everything with the SEC when they do that and announce the PRs. So that's what I expect. A week or two into April, we're probably getting an announcement that the second acquisition agreement's been signed, and get some details on that company, who it is, what their revenue will be, things like that. Now, if that seems a little bit ambitious, like they're not going to close two back to back, I'd say just look back at their history with Wistful and SmartBiz. They were both acquired within a month of each other. In fact, one of them closed in April and the other one closed in May. So things are kind of lining up exactly the same. Only now the acquisitions are significantly larger. QXTEL's adding $80 million in revenue. That's amazing. And I don't even know what to expect from the next acquisition. I hope it's similar in size. So that's what I got for you guys from this PR. The numbers, we can look at those, and it just confirms, I stand very strong behind my 300 million projection for this year. I still think that's very conservative and on the low end. They should close the QXTEL acquisition within about the next 3 weeks. And hopefully we hear about the second acquisition a week or two after that. So the next couple of months are going to be extremely exciting. And, as I've been saying, guys, 2024, 25 should be our time. The financials are lining up, and the growth, the profits, it can't be ignored, guys. So like I said, not a financial advisor. You guys need to do your own DD and do your own research, but I enjoy talking about the stock, post a lot about it, talk a lot about it in the ambassadors group on Facebook. So if you guys want to join the conversation there, hear more about it, go ahead and check us out. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoy the video.